to a Friday edition. Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. LSU finally has a new baseball coach. It is Jay Johnson, formerly of Arizona. Formal announcement from LSU expected today. Press conference to announce Jay Johnson incoming on Monday. So that'll be good. My first day back, and we'll get to introduce a new baseball coach. So that'll be fun. Let me get this thing shared out there. Please like the page, share the post there on Facebook. Like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post. And if you're on YouTube, if you would do us a solid there and hit that like button, as we tell you all the time. That's how, that's how YouTube knows to show this video to more people. So we very much appreciate everybody who watches and who likes and all that stuff. So I'll start with some feedback on Jay Johnson. Would love yours as well. If you want to fire away, let me know. I did tweet last night whenever Jay was hired, or whenever the news broke that he was going to be hired. I tweeted, I like the hire, which I'll talk about here in a second. But just curious, and I was seeking feedback. Did you know who Jay Johnson was 4 weeks ago? And I would say roughly 90% of the people who replied were like, I had no idea. Which is okay, by the way, because this was my point in doing that exercise. My point in doing that exercise is that sometimes it's okay not to make a familiar hire, to think outside of your most obvious circle. Sometimes that's how you land your best hires. Think about when LSU hired Dave Aranda. Dave Aranda was a guy in his early 40s, career West Coaster, Cal Lutheran, Utah State, Hawaii. He'd been in Wisconsin for 1 year. And Les Miles hired him because he went through an interview process. He went through an interview process and found the best guy, was blown away by Aranda, brought him here. And Dave Aranda is a massive reason why LSU won the national championship in 2019. I can play some more connect the dots with that, but I think you understand the point. Like, sometimes it's good to cast a wide net to go see what's out there instead of just saying, oh, Mike Bianco played here. He's a head coach. Let's hire him. Or, oh, Cliff Godwin coached here. He's a head coach. Let's hire him. They have ties here, blah, 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 which I think is the most overrated. The he has ties here, I think, is the most overrated storyline that people try to bring up as relevant. When you look at Jay Johnson, he's younger than Skip was when he was hired, younger than Smoke was when he was hired, younger than Maneri was when he was hired, but old enough to be a veteran coach. I love the fact that he has been in a place where he's coached big leaguers, he has produced big leaguers, and he has gotten Arizona to Omaha twice. And that is a good program, man. Arizona had their run of success many years ago. Andy Lopez won a title there in 2012, so not that, more recent than LSU's most recent title. But, he was an assistant at the University of San Diego. He was the head coach at Nevada for 2 years and then got the Arizona job, and he's been there for 6 years, 2 CWS appearances. I like it. And the other thing I'll tell you that I like a lot is I had conversation. So after the hire after the news broke yesterday, I had a couple of conversations with people who spoke with Jay. Since he was, I haven't spoken to Jay Johnson, by the way. I've not personally spoken to him yet. But people who were on the phone with him shortly after the news was announced, and the consistent feedback was they're blown away, raving about his energy, his excitement, how fired up he is, like how eager he is. I will tell you, he was already on the phone with his current team and parents of current players, and eager to do so. And I don't know if you saw this, but LSU already flipped a commit. Mikey Romero, who was an Arizona commit, was a Team USA player, flipped his commit from Arizona to LSU. So I mean, he's a shortstop out of California. You're for 2022. So I mean, you're already paying dividends there. So anyway, I like it. I mean, you can tell. This for me, I think I would have really been disappointed had LSU settled with Mike Bianco. I'd have really been disappointed. Well, I told you from the beginning, Cliff Godwin wasn't happening. I mean, I told you all that for at least 2 weeks now that wasn't going to happen. I like it. So give me some feedback. Let me hear what y'all think. Let's say some good mornings here. Joey Vincent, Tad Page, Connor O'Neill. You're a nerd if you prefer Cliff Godwin over Jay Johnson. The guy clearly had the best resume of the finalists. I get there are question marks, but this was the best coach available. Like I told you, Godwin was not going to be a real candidate. I certainly prefer Johnson over Bianco. I think I made my feelings on that very well known. And I think where they landed was in a really good spot. I think now that he's hired, you can just kind of start to see what's come to light. Like LSU did not have initial interest in Jim Schlossnagle. They tried to circle back to him, but he had already taken the A&M job. He would have preferred LSU, but LSU didn't have initial interest. Corbin, like I told you all along, was going to be a nearly impossible pull. He was going to stay at Vanderbilt. Dan McDonald did not have interest in leaving Louisville. Who else are we talking about? We all know as much about the Pat Casey thing as you can. But anyway, I mean, yes, I think this is a very, very strong hire. I'm excited about it. Cliff Nelson, Randall Offrecht, Matthew Rogelio, Truax, what's up? Trey Earl, good morning. Kenneth Martin, what's up? I'm glad you're back and doing well. Thank you, Kenneth. Man, y'all, if you notice, it's 9:05 a.m. right now. This is the latest I've slept in forever. Like I slept in yesterday. I took a 2-hour nap in the middle of the day, and then last night slept for 8 hours. So like, my body very clearly needed to just rest. So yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you. Trey. Oh, you told me too, Trey. Haydet. I forgot. Good morning. Chase Joubert. Like they went outside the LSU circle, fresh view on the program. I mean, they did that with Paul as well, and I'm with you. I like that. I don't need someone who has ties to here or who wants to be here. It's his dream job. I don't need that guy. I need the best guy for the job. Craig Dugas, good morning. Cliff, I guess the Wikipedia page knew it was up before anyone else yesterday. It's funny. Bryce Doty. What's up, Bryce? I want this LSU team to hit like that Arizona team. So that's the other thing I'll tell you, man. Listen, I want to say this real quick because I've been asked about this as well. Well, he's a West Coast guy and West Coast small ball. Jay Johnson is not a West Coast small ball coach, okay? His team was 4th in the country in batting average this past year. They are not a slap single, bunt them over, steal a base, sack fly, get him in. That's not what his teams did. Did you watch them against Ole Miss in that super regional? They slugged Ole Miss. They slugged good pitching from Ole Miss. Yes, he coaches hitters. He is a hitting coach. If you noticed, Kendall Rogers was tweeting about potential staff members. He mentioned Troy Tulowitzki possibly as the hitting coach at LSU, which would be amazing. One thing that I am going to be very interested in. Hang on one second, y'all. Sorry. One thing that I will be very interested in is what coaches Jay Johnson's able to bring with him. So, namely Nate Yeske. So if you don't know who Nate Yeske is the associate head coach at Arizona, and he was the pitching coach under Pat Casey on all those Oregon State teams. So people have asked, okay, what's Jay Johnson's specialty? Well, he deals with hitters, but he's had really good pitching. So this was 2021 was his first full season because he went there in 2020, but that season obviously got cut short due to COVID. So this was really his first full season. But Yeske was at Oregon State for 11 years. They won the national championship when he was there in 2018. D1 baseball named him the assistant coach of the year in 2017. Just kind of reading through his bio. But he was at Oregon State for 11 seasons, and they were, they were Oregon State. You know what I mean? So I would love to see if Yeske follows Johnson here. I just don't know, because I can't tell you I know anything about what Arizona's planning on doing. Like, would they offer him their head coaching job? I don't know. But that will be an interesting one to watch for sure. Let's see. John Malassaw, Cortland Jacob, Stacy Schilling. As Craig Schilling's 8-year-old nephew said, at least he has experience. Yes, he does have experience. Randall Uffrecht, Jay Johnson wasn't on your list. Was he a late comer in the hiring process? Yeah. So when I'm trying to think of the point where it kind of shifted, obviously, when they moved on from Kevin O'Sullivan, they made a run at Pat Casey that obviously wasn't going to I just got a text. That was really cool. Anyway, sorry. When the Pat Casey thing obviously didn't happen, they had to pivot. Mike Bianco would have accepted the job. And they were talking terms with Bianco. And I really thought they were ultimately going to make... When I left last Wednesday, I left really thinking they were going to offer Bianco. And clearly that never happened because Mike would have taken the job. I'm certain of that had the LSU formally offered him the job, he would have taken it. So they didn't, and I'm actually really glad because I think this is a better move for LSU. So newcomer or a latecomer in the process, I don't know that I would say a latecomer because I think they had their eyes on him. But, the first time that Woodward kind of conversed with Jay Johnson was via Zoom. It would have been... Let's see, I'm sorry, my days are running together because of vacation. Arizona was out in Omaha on Monday, and that's whenever, as I understand it, they made the offer. Right? Arizona got eliminated Monday, and either later that day or the next day is when Woodward Zoomed with him and they made the offer. Let's see. John Malassaw. Jay Johnson greater than Tony Vitello. I'd rather Jay than Tony Vitello. That's another thing I told you. That LSU was never really in pursuit of Tony Vitello. Like, that was never there were fans who wanted it, and that's fine. But Vitello was... everybody that I talked to throughout that entire thing, the reaction to Vitello was, no. We're not walking down that road with that guy. That was really the way that every conversation I had went. Um, Let me jump over to Facebook and say some good mornings over there. My apologies, y'all, because those comments scroll by so fast. Bill Schmid, good morning. Brandon Atchison, all we got to do is hire a stud pitching coach. Jerry DeLucky, Stephen Miller, what's up? Coaching staff will line up very nicely. I'm fired up. And Stephen's right. Remember, when you're LSU and you have the resources to hire staff, you can pull good coaches. I'll be very interested to see what Jay Johnson does. I can't pretend like I've never spoken to Jay Johnson ever. I don't know what he is thinking of doing as far as staff, but I'm very interested and I'm excited to see it. And as far as recruiting, remember this, like, because I know some are going to say or think, well, he doesn't have any ties here. How can he recruit here? Remember, college baseball recruiting has become such a national event now. I mean, your starting shortstop is Jordan Thompson, who's a California kid. Dylan Cruz is from Florida. I mean, you went and got Trent Vittmeyer from Pittsburgh. So Alex Lang was from Missouri, right? I mean, the game has changed so much with roster limitations that you have to go cast a wide net and try to get the best prospects in the country to come to you. And so it doesn't matter if you're Arizona or Oregon State or LSU or Florida, like a lot of these coaches, you're recruiting the same showcase events anyway. So the fact that Mikey Romero already flipped from Arizona to LSU tells you that he's going to be able to get kids here. Like, it's still LSU. He's still recruiting with those 3 letters across his chest. It's still a brand name people know. You could still bring kids to campus and show them the box and show them the facilities and show them the Intimidator and show them the LSU Hall of Fame and put on videos of Warren Morris and show them crowd shots of the fans and bring them into a stadium with 11,000 seats and explain why LSU is different. And I mean, I love the fact that he's a young guy with a ton of energy, and I think he's going to recruit here very well also. Let's see. Stephen Miller, the drive by average fans of LSU baseball didn't like this hire because it wasn't one of 5 names shoved down our throats for 4 to 5 weeks. Stephen, I haven't seen this glut of fans saying they don't like the hire. And I'll grant you, my purview here is very limited to like the Twitter responses I got and what I've seen on Facebook and stuff. But I haven't had this melt of people saying they don't like it. Overwhelmingly, I think people do like this hire. I think it is refreshing. It's someone youthful and energetic and has had success, and people can see how, okay, take that guy, plug him into LSU, play that brand of baseball, and win here. Yeah, I think people like that. Jamie Leday, good morning. Jerry DeLucky, excuse me, didn't know who he was, but he's young. He's been at Arizona since 2016, taking his team to the CWS 2 out of 6 years. I like the hire. I think that's largely the perspective of most LSU fans. Brian and Andy Pinton from Omaha, heading to Iowa to pick up a load of ice cream. Love the hire. How you feel about Mike Hoss being the voice of the Saints? Talked a little bit about Mike yesterday, man. Really quickly thought Mike was going to get it when Zach Strief got it. A little bit of an upset that Zach was picked, but I think Mike will do great. He is a New Orleans guy, longtime broadcaster, and I think he'll do just fine. Brandon Atchison, here's to hoping Johnson can turn Milazzo into a 280 hitter, making a top 5 pick. If he's a 280 hitter, Milazzo will. I had one scout tell me, Alex Milazzo, he said if he could just hit 220, he'll play 15 years in pro ball. I don't need to go down that road again. Troy Abear, good morning, Matt. Love the hire of Jay Johnson. Trying to ask you this yesterday. Did LSU not know about O'Sullivan's baggage before they started going down the road with him? If they did, still went down the path, very bad optics. No, it was something that was sort of revealed throughout the vetting process, put to you that way. Daryl Fontenot, love seeing Arizona batting averages up and down the line. 8 of their 9 everyday hitters hitting over 300. I mean, I'm looking at it right here. Here you go. 369, 352, 351, 350, 342, 335, 318, 316, 305. And then Tony Bullard also hit 298 And then let's see, he started. He was kind of like a part time. He started 39 of their games. The only other guy who, let's see, Jacob Bloss, who started 36 games, hit 257. He was the only one. I'll take it. I'll take it. Louis Bergeron, nobody heard of Skip when he was hired. That's not true. And that was also 40 years ago. It's just not a fair comparison. Like, the comp is, and I understand your point, and I'm not saying you have to have someone that fans know greatly of. It's just that's a completely different era. But what I will say is, the game of college baseball, especially in the SEC, has shifted so dramatically just in the 15 years since Maneri was hired. When you consider that 15 years ago, Tim Corbin and Vanderbilt have now won two national championships. At that point, South Carolina hadn't won. They've since won 2 national championships and gone through 2 coaches post Ray Tanner. Florida has won a national championship. State has played in a championship series. Arkansas has played in a championship series. It's just the league is different. It's just a different landscape than when Maneri was hired 15 years ago. It's just very different. Brian, they're talking about Childress coming in as the pitching coach. I did see that was a possibility of bringing in Rob Childress. So Childress, of course, was the A&M head coach for the last 16 years and had success there. And maybe more than anything, I think about the guys that they had at A&M, the arms they had, and that was kind of always the benchmark of those teams. I think you could do way worse when you're talking about a guy who, if you crave SEC experience, well, there's a guy who's been coaching in the league, who knows the parks and knows the talent and knows the other coaches and has recruited in the SEC. You know what I mean? Like, if you need that, a guy on staff who has that, I mean, that would certainly check that box. Eric Trosclair, good morning. Stephen Miller, 4th best batting average in the nation. Yeah, so, yep, tweeted that yesterday. It's someone who said small ball, West Coast small ball. I was like, no, not really. Here we go. Gosh, they're going so fast. Sorry, y'all. Josh Long, Irfan Sayad, Daryl Fontenot, Josh Higgins. Going from, but it's a dry heat, to it's not the heat, it's the humidity. Welcome to South Louisiana, Coach Jay. Let's see. Kai would be a good hitting coach. I like his philosophy on ABs. Krista Ducote, good morning. Dylan Landry, Lance McPhail. Who wins the CWS? Lance, honestly, man, I would be lying if I told you I've seen any of it. I did not watch while I was on vacation. I did say, when after LSU's first SEC series against Mississippi State, I think I tweeted, I'll go find this tweet, that I'd be stunned if State wasn't in Omaha. I think they have the pitching, the depth to hold up. I think they're 2-0, right? Someone has to come back and beat State twice, right? So I'll take State. Brandon DeVille, Shriners Classic has a fantastic field for next year. Yep, I'm glad LSU's heading back there to playing it again. Jonathan Martin, another great hire by Woodward. Brian Jones, is Johnson a great recruiter? He's going to have to get to know the area, right? Talked about that a little bit already, Brian. Yes, he's got a ton of energy. I mentioned when we jumped on here, for those that missed it, that last night after the news broke, I spoke with 2 different people who spoke with Jay Johnson yet. Like, since the announcement came down, he was fired up. He was already on the phone talking to players, parents of current players. We saw the Mikey Romero news that he flipped from Arizona. Yes, so I think he's going to be just fine. Brian Jones, is Alan Dunn out of here? Yes, I think I've been pretty consistent on that. The only staff member that had a chance of really being retained was Nolan as a recruiting coordinator. But Nolan's at A&M, so. Let's see, Chandler tells us, yes, he's going to A&M. Is that for sure? I don't know. Father John David Mathern, good morning. Brandon Mall, Skip got the field named after him. Will Paul get part of the stands named after him? I'm guessing you're joking. I don't think so. Okay, Yeski is going to A&M. Okay, a lot of y'all are saying that he took the A&M job. LSU baseball has announced the hire. Okay, good. I figured they were going to announce it. That's what I heard. They were going to announce it today, and the press conference was going to be on Monday. Let me see. Here we go. Go retweet that. Yep, LSU just announced it 12 minutes ago. Looks good in that purple and gold, man. Let's see. Henry Gordon Bennett, good morning. Go get Todd Walker for hitting coach. Todd wants it. I don't know that. Had it been Bianco, I think there was certainly a realistic chance that was going to happen. And I know Todd talked to Maneri about it the last time it was open when he hired Eddie Smith. And Paul went a different direction. I don't mind saying that now, but anyway. Adam Contreras, what's up, Skip? They interviewed him after the Super Regional. My understanding, though, is the offer came like right after they were eliminated from Omaha, and I think that was Monday. LSU plane flew to Omaha on a day when UA wasn't playing. The plane flew to Tempe the day after they were eliminated. Y'all on the flight aware stuff. I told you I was disengaged while I was on vacation, but my understanding is they offered him as soon as they were eliminated, like the day they were eliminated. What does Coog think about the hire? We'll get his perspective. Chris Lightsey, why did they not consider Vitello? I'm not going to say they didn't consider Vitello, like they didn't have a conversation about him. But every reaction I got was the same from everyone was, not that guy. Like they just did, to deal with his personality, there weren't enough skins on the wall to justify going after a guy like that, I think. And what it would have cost to pluck him away from Tennessee, and Tennessee's prepared to make him a big offer and all that stuff. I just don't think it was appealing. I mean, like, people sort of gotten to know Tony Vitello this year because that team, won the East and had a really good season. Do you realize this was his 4th year in Tennessee? Now, granted, he was building, but this was year 4. I mean, it's not like he's new, So, anyway. Where do you think AD will land? I don't know, Chris. No idea. Are you going to get Johnson AFR Monday? Doubtful on Monday because the press conference is going to be Monday. So I'm sure he'll do the press conference on Monday and maybe Tuesday. We'll try to get him. Let's see. Chandler Tullis, you got to believe the assistants are going to be splash hires. Derek Adams, Matt, did he name any staff? Not yet. Father John David, did Tiger droppings melt trying to get Scone fired up on a Friday? I don't know why that would get me fired up on a Friday, but just don't read it. Arizona had 10 games more than not where they scored 10 or more runs. That's crazy. They had a great offense this year. There's no doubt. Can't wait for the first weekend of September. Got my vacation to the Rose Bowl. Awesome. I'm pretty fired up for it. I actually yesterday wrote every year the 225 magazine for the last 5-6 years. They've been very, very kind, and they extended an invitation to me to write a column for their football preview edition. So which comes out in August. Or maybe sometime in July. But anyway, that was deadline was yesterday, so I put that together. So for the first time, really, this summer, I've actually had to really sit down and think a lot about and think deeply about the football season and games and matchups and players and all that sort of stuff. So it was interesting. Richard Tilley Sr. wheels up Catholic High young men headed to West Point. Matthew Tilley and friends. That's awesome. So, yeah, man, y'all give a big salute to those guys. I know Matthew Tilley, Michael Chernauskas. You got there might be more. Forgive me if I'm forgetting, but couple of young men who were admitted into West Point, and they begin that journey to becoming commissioned officers in the U.S. Army this weekend. So congrats to those young men, and certainly best of luck to all of them. Greg Parks, as long as he doesn't bring that Ask Gilbo on anymore. What was that to? Yeah, I saw Glenn wrote a column that was not so glowing about the Jay Johnson hire. I can't say that I agree tremendously with that take. Part of it, I'm paraphrasing, you can go read it, but part of it was there were more experienced coaches and, West Coast transitioning to the SEC. You mentioned Dave Serrano. The problem I have with the Dave Serrano comp is twofold. Number one, Dave Serrano was a small ball guy. I mean, he was a small ball guy at Fullerton. I mean, that's like trying to bring the triple option into the SEC. It's just a fundamentally different style. Number one. Number two was Tennessee. I mean, it was Tennessee, not. He didn't go to LSU and fail. He didn't go to Mississippi State and fail. He didn't go to a place he didn't go to Vanderbilt and failed. It's at Tennessee. They haven't been relevant in 20 years. Anyway, I don't buy that comp. But Glenn is also working on a book with Skip Bertman. And my guess is, he was bending Skip's ear a lot throughout this. I'm guessing, I don't know. I have not talked to Glenn about this at all. But my guess, he was bending Skip's ear a lot through it. So you're probably getting the perspective of Skip and former players, things like that, through Glenn, which is fine. Brandon, it'll be refreshing to see a team with a goal of working counts, being scrappy at the plate. Just a much better approach than we've seen in the last few years. Hey, man, Brandon, that's true not just at LSU, but even throughout baseball. I saw yesterday at ESPN.com. I did not read the article, but I did see, so just full disclosure, I did see a headline about trying to fix baseball and how right now 25% of Major League at-bats are ending in strikeouts. 25%. That's stunning. For perspective, they said that's the career strikeout rate of Nolan Ryan and Sandy Koufax. So basically, every pitcher right now is pitching like two of the all-time greats. It's so crazy. It's just hitters are swinging out of their shoes. They're not protecting the plate. They're trying to go yard. So I'd love to see a different approach. Skip, press conference in the middle of your show. They like doing that. I don't mind it, honestly. They did that with Mulkey too. So, and the reason you do that is you obviously have to get it in before the 6 o'clock news. If you're looking at a news cycle, right? You want to get it in before the 6 o'clock news so that it can be on the 6 o'clock news. But you also don't want it to get buried in the middle of the day while people are at work. So it makes sense to do it at 4:30, nearer the end of the day when more people can be tuned in, locked in. You can also still that's an appropriate time. That's why you would do it then. Kelly Gross, good morning, Matt. Like the hire? I think overwhelmingly people are positive toward this hire. I'd like to see Reagan Lee. I'd like to see Childress and Walker for assistance. Why has Paul overlooked Walker for so long? He should get a shot, right? Reagan, listen, I'll tell you straight up. Personally, of course, y'all know I like Todd Walker. I would even consider him not only just collegial professionally, but friendly. It's not like we're best buds or anything, but I like Todd. And I think he could do an awesome job. I also understand where if you're at a place like LSU, why you would be less inclined to take a chance on a first-time college assistant. I do. Flip side of it is you could look at places where Lance Berkman is coaching now, Matt Holliday's at Oklahoma State. And guys that played are getting into coaching collegiately. And I really dig that. I think it brings great attention to the game. You're going to bring great instruction to the game. I dig it. So I would very much be okay with it, to be clear. If that's what it came to, and maybe just because I know Todd and he and I have talked fundamentals of hitting so much, and I know his approach and how he would coach guys and I think he would be fantastic. But I also understand why, if as a coach, you're gonna try to assemble a staff that has more experience at the collegiate level, right? I get that as well. Let's see. When will Paul O'Neill get his own segment on AFR? Paul can have his own segment on AFR. Paul don't want to talk, man. And he's quite content being that guy. That's one of the reasons we work so well together, honestly, because Paul does awesome work and he does not covet spotlight. He actually covets, like, Paul is like, Paul's validation comes in me when we end a segment. I go, Paul, like you nailed that, dude. The way you did the graphic thing, that was awesome. Like that's the validation that Paul covets, and he works awesome. Like Paul can read my mind. Like he knows visually like what I'm thinking as the show's unfolding. I mean, a lot of it's just reps and working together for so long, but he's awesome. Let's see. Jump back over here to YouTube. By the way, 113 watching on YouTube. Thank you so much. Only 52 likes. If you would please hit the like button if you're on mobile. X out of the live chat. You'll see the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. Then the live chat icon is right there. Just hit live chat again and boom, we're right there. So thank you very much. If you've not yet subscribed, please do so. We appreciate that greatly. And on Facebook, as always, like the page, share the post. Like the page, share the post. Brock Hudco. You need an orthopedist? You go to Brock. You need a roof? Call Hudco. Chase Jobert, wow, said my name right. First person at ESPN to do that. Jobert? I guess I've just known a bunch of Joberters. I guess I just know the name. But happy to oblige there, Chase. Luke Cranford, super excited to see how Dylan Cruz, Trey Morgan can develop with Jay Johnson. I will tell you, I don't mind disclosing this little tidbit that George Cruz, Dylan's dad, is one of the parents that Jay Johnson called yesterday. So they're pretty fired up. I'll put it that way. Cliff Nelson, do we have any potential candidates for the pitching coach, and who is spearheading recruiting? Some of those names that people have mentioned already. So Kendall tweeted. Hang on. And I'm only bringing this up because Kendall talks to all these people. All right, so Kendall Rogers, head coach Jay Johnson, pitching Rob Childress or Sean Allen, hitting coach, he writes, Troy Tulowitzki or Chad Kaye. I think any and all there would be really good, and I'm telling you that Kendall's not guessing there. He's talking to Jay Johnson. I'm certain of it, and those are the names he's floating and talking to. So, Tulowitzki would be incredible. I mean, just to have that name, Anyway, and Allen is has been on David Pierce's staff, at Tulane in Texas. So you got another guy with experience here and has helped develop some dudes. So we'll see what direction they go. Paul's pondering. Josh Bullard just talked about pitching coach. No idea on what Alan Dunn's going to do. I mean, I don't know if AD continues coaching. Like, it just for, and I totally respect that people are asking. Alan, AD left professional ball where he was, minor league pitching instructor for a lot of years, and came to LSU because the whole thing there was all he wanted to do was coach pitching. He did not want to recruit, so AD was not hitting the road. Like, he was just coaching pitching. And I don't know that. I mean, it might be that AD, after 10 years in Baton Rouge or whatever it is now, and at 60, Alan Dunn is 59 years old. Like, does he want to retire? Does he want to keep coaching? I don't know. He was in the Cubs minor league system from 93 to 06, and then with the Orioles from 07 to 2010. He's been at LSU since 2012. So, it might be one of those things where AD is done. Maybe he gets back into the game in a minor league system somewhere. I just, I know all he wanted to do at LSU was coach pitching. Didn't want to recruit, do all that sort of stuff. So I don't know that that's an opportunity, unless if that opportunity somewhere else presents itself. Hey, bud. Good morning. Good morning. Well, whenever I started it, the med port was open for a second.
No, it's sleeping on the pajamas.
Well, it got on his pajamas in the bed.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Hashtag feeding two probs.
Hashtag what?
Feeding two probs. Ronnie Dugas done is gone. We think yes. I mean, that's something that I've been pretty consistent on since Palmineri was out. The only member of the staff that had a chance to be retained was Nolan, but he's already gone. Morning, Matt. When will LSU announce the hire? They've already announced the hire. They did that this morning, and the press conference will be Monday. Josh Ellis. Good morning. Chance Marcante. JJ looks good in purple and gold. Yes, indeed. No disrespect to Woodward. If he always credit him for the good hire, get blamed for not doing his homework on Sullivan's personal life before putting the eggs in that basket. But Justin, that's part of the process. Is you walk that road, and at some point that disclosure comes. Nothing has been made public, nor would it be made public, because nothing is egregious. It's just that LSU is operating in a very sensitive time, if that makes sense. So, the only reason it became a thing is because they had to sort of pivot and start over, and then everything became very public. But overall, man, you heard nothing from Scott Woodward this entire time, because that's how Scott wants it. He wants to operate very quietly. But leaks happen, and leaks happen largely because of the coaches involved who talked. All right. Thinking he brings Friday Night Ace with him. Transfer portal, bro. Gaslit Gamer, how can you call a guy that has lost 20-something games every year, except this year, and has been around 500 in conference, a good hire? Because the ultimate goal is to get to Omaha and win there. And in 6 seasons, he did it twice. He is the guy that is the young coach that you can look at and say, give him the right resources, and you're betting on the come. And I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. If my preference was Kevin O'Sullivan, y'all know that. I wanted that to happen, and it was really, really close to happening. But it didn't. And if you're looking for someone with a national championship pedigree, your only other options were going to be guys like Pat Casey or Tim Corbin. And for reasons we've discussed, those weren't realistic. So you go conduct a search. You vet candidates. You interview people. You see who you get a good feel for, who has a good plan, how they're going to assemble their staff, what their vision is for the program. And then you trust the guy that you interview that you feel best about. And I like it. Let's see. Cliff Nelson, you made a great point yesterday. AFR subs all were hard to get through. I didn't realize how much we were used to your cadence and flow. It's very true, man. Like, it's not an easy gig, but it's made even more so because y'all are used to how I do a show. If you listen, right? So then you hear someone else, and it sounds different, and so it's hard. It's harder to listen to because it's different. Craig Duga. Totally underwhelmed with the hire. Thought for sure Coach K retired from basketball to try his hand at baseball, or at least we would have gone after Blake Dean. I got it, Craig. Craig is trolling, by the way. Randall Offreck, what's the expectations for next season? They've got to figure out the weekend rotation because you're going to lose Marceau and Lavis and obviously Jaden Hill. So you got to figure out your rotation, but your lineup is going to be very solid. So, man, I always say the baseline expectation for LSU baseline should be host a regional every year. That should be your baseline. Like, you should never be outside of the top 16. Like, every year you should be hosting a regional at the box every year. That should be your baseline. If you do not hit that baseline of hosting a regional, you have failed. Being a top 8 national seed obviously is much more difficult. It's 50% harder, but it would be 100% harder. Either way. But you should win a regional and you should be in a super regional, and then it comes down to, can you go win a weekend? Can you win 2 out of 3? And if you do, you're playing in Omaha. And even this LSU team got to that super regional round. So they should absolutely baseline expectation next year be hosting a regional at the box. And you should always win your regional. You should never lose a regional at the box. So you should be playing into the super regional round. They should be playing to win 2 out of 3 to get to Omaha. Let's see. What is that? What is Cortland saying? This guy is more proven and a better person. Matt has been Oh, why does it seem like the chat is informing Matt instead of the other way around? Got it. Weird time to do that. To take a vacation? Yeah, I don't care. So just so you, to the guy who was talking about me taking vacation. So just so, like, I don't care. I'll tell you straight up. We cannot take vacation during ratings periods and during football season. So, like, we are not allowed. So I have a very small window when I can take vacation. I mean, I don't mind explaining this to whoever that was who asked, or to all of you. So as a staff, that's why you see right now, like, T-Bob's gone, I'm gone, Hester was gone a couple of weeks ago, like Muso's gone right now, because we have a very small window as a staff where we can take vacation. So when we go on vacation, our family, we go as a family. It's me and Erica's 2 sisters, their husbands, kids, and their parents. So we plan our vacation like in January, February, like months in advance, where we're going and what we're doing. Like months ago, like in February, forgive me for not having a crystal ball to know that LSU is going to have a 3-week baseball coaching search through June. And quite honestly, I just don't care, because what I will tell you is I've done this long enough to know that tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, no one will know or care. It's just the next day the news cycle resets. Nobody remembers who breaks news. Nobody, like, people's long-term memory is almost non-existent in a news cycle. Whenever, when we launched ESPN in 2010, AFR started, I think it was February 17th of 2010. I did not take a vacation day for almost 2 years because we were so brand new and I was so, like, every day people were finding out we existed. And so I didn't take a vacation day for 2 years. I begged to speak at every Kiwanis club, every Lions club, every men's club, judged every chili cook-off. Anytime anybody would ever let me put on an ESPN shirt and go somewhere and represent, like, put it, like, we were building and growing the station. Hey,
Do you want waffles?
yes, please. But we're established enough now to where it doesn't have to be like that anymore. And yeah, I'm totally fine taking a vacation. So yeah, and when I'm on vacation, I'm on vacation. So I was as deep into the coaching search thing at literally as anybody that was following it up until last Wednesday when I left for vacation. When I left for vacation, I left. I took vacation. So that's all. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't really concern myself with random internet people with fake names who question me. I mean, but I don't mind explaining, right? But I think the results of what I've been able to do professionally are what they are. And as I've always said, if people don't like me, and if someday people stop listening and advertisers stop spending money, I'll go do something else and I'll be totally fine doing that. Whatever I do, I'll put this same effort that I do for all the stuff I do here behind whatever I do next, and I'll do great at that too. Just, I'm good. So no worries, man. We should appreciate the fact Matt is still doing morning Scone during his vacation. Not everyone would take the time to do that. Thank you, sir. You got it, man. It's all good. Like, seriously, I'm not even mad about that comment. But just know that there's a reason why our whole staff is like T-Bob's on vacation right now. It happens that way, man. It's life. Let's see. Connor O'Neill, bruh, Scone is the hardest working man in Louisiana media. If you can't see that, especially given the state of AFR when he's gone, you're blind. Hey, but I do want to say, for real though, for real. I am so very appreciative to everybody who has filled in for me on AFR while I'm gone. Like, I don't really think you understand how hard it is to find people that are willing to do that. So, like, to sit in that chair for 3 hours, like, without a net is, I'm telling you, man, the key to that job is making something that is very, very difficult look very, very easy. And not a lot of people are eager to do it. Like, I've had media friends who are just like, man, I'm not doing that. So to everyone who, and they don't get paid, right? It's just guys who I ask are friends and say, man, are you willing to do this? And then maybe they, like Renato was fired up to do it. You know, he got to promote Cards and Culture and F45, and that's awesome. I'm super happy that he gets the platform to do that. You know, but you know, it's, anyway, they're not me. They don't do it every single day, but I'm very grateful to the people that took time out of their day to, and what their 9 to 5 is, to do that for me while I was gone. So I'm very grateful. Ronnie Dugas, could they go national coverage while you're gone? No, and the reason, Ronnie, is because, like, we're gonna stay local and we're gonna satisfy all of our advertisers, right? That buy the show. So, you know, you're gonna stay local and you're gonna stay with the relevant topics. I mean, think about it right now. Like, LSU is in the midst of all this coaching search stuff. Like, would you really go national while they're talking NBA playoffs and stuff in the middle of a coaching search? No. So, Brian, one of the SC Media Days in Hoover, July the 19th. Starts Monday, July the 19th. So we will be there Monday to July the 19th through Thursday, July 22nd. Kevin Boudreau, love the hire. You pair the way his team this year with the power hitting of LSU. The lineup will be potent. Need to figure out the rotation. Completely agree. Charlie Cavell, I'm one who really likes the hire of Johnson. I think he's an outstanding coach. His pitching and hitting coaches hires will be key to his success as at LSU, in my opinion. I agree. I think overwhelmingly, man, people are liking this hire. Rudy Valenciano, glad you had time off with your family. Thank you, Rudy. Hope you're doing great, man. Jared Wrinkles, good morning. Mimi and Ward Mobile, good morning. Joshua Buller, thanks, Matt Ears, wanting you back for 3 to 6. Monday, I'll be back on Monday. Is Hill going to go to the draft? No, he'll definitely go in the draft, Brian. So, talking about Jaden Hill. Jaden Hill was, you don't come back because if he comes back, he loses all of his leverage. So, it's unfortunate he had the injury. We'll see where he's picked. But even with Tommy John, he'll still likely be a top 2 round guy. It's just unfortunate that he would have been like a top 10 guy potentially, top half of round 1 guy. All right, I think we're just about done, y'all. Let's see, a couple more. Ronnie Dugas, you got it, man. Cliff Nelson, I'll fill in for you anytime you need. Only on weekends, though. Cortland Johnson's 44. He's on the young end of the coaches. What are you talking about, Blake? What did Blake say? This doesn't feel like a long-term hire. Oh, I think what Blake is alluding to there is saying that because, you're saying because he looks 60. No, so I thought you were thinking maybe he was young and would leave for another job. And I think he's 44. I think he's here for the next decade, decade plus. I think you do hire this guy as the next 10 to 15-year guy, provided he has success. Mr. W. Matt, thoughts on the other new head coach LSU hired in swimming? I honestly have no idea. So I'm sorry. I would completely be lying to you if I told you I had an opinion on it. Let's see. Randall Offred, Coach O is number 1 on ESPN's list of coaches on the hot seat entering the season. I haven't seen the list, and I don't know the situation at other schools. I will tell you this is a pivotal year for Ed Ogeron. And I think he knows that to really feel safe, he's got to win 9. He's got to go 9-3. 8-4 is in 7-5. 7-5, he's probably packing. It's a big year, man. There's no other way around it. It is a really big year. Let's see. Dave Vender, by the way, upset with HUDCO. Called last Saturday, got the 24-hour guy. Filled out the form online and no response. Dave, do me a favor, please. Let me see what happened there. If you would, just give me the opportunity to find out what happened and to make it right. Please email me directly, matt@hudcoroofing.com, M-A-T-T, matt@hudcoroofing.com. Just shoot me a message and just say you're the guy on Morning Scone. And if nothing else, at least let me figure out what happened there. Because if there's a hole in our process to where that got lost, I want to be able to figure that out. So my apologies, Dave. I don't know what happened, but let me at least figure out what happened. Irfan, if baseline is to host a regional, since you should never lose a home regional, isn't baseline to make a super regional? No, because you should be hosting a regional. Would be the baseline. Like, you should never be traveling. What happened this year, traveling for regional, should never happen. Josh Giraldo, thoughts on LSU possibly rethinking the outfield seating and fan experience? Some of these new stadiums have electric outfield lounges. I would be open to those conversations, Josh. I'll tell you, Janice Guitro. So for those who don't know, I mean, 2 of the biggest benefactors for LSU baseball are Billy and Janice Guitro. Billy Guitro is the president and CEO of Turner Industries. And then obviously Richard and Susan Lipsy. So, and Janice Guitro was on Twitter a couple weeks ago, maybe last week before, whatever. basically soliciting fan engagement about how to improve the fan experience at the box. And if there's anyone who has the resources to make things like that happen, it would be her. So yeah, sure, I'm sure they're always open to things like that. I don't know realistically what you could do. I mean, if you ask me, all right, Matt, what would you do to fix the box? First of all, I would have actual bullpens. I would take the bullpens off of the baselines and I would put them behind the outfield wall, if possible. Again, I don't know if you have the space to do that. A lot of people have mentioned like a student section. I would add ideally add some type of berm, general seating area. You could build up a berm maybe in left center or right center, make that a, your student general seating area potentially. But a lot of it otherwise you're just limited, with the space you have. The box isn't box is a great venue, man. It's 11 years old. The sidelines are great. The amenities are fantastic. Concessions, concourses, and all that stuff. Restrooms. I really truly believe that if you're looking for how to improve the atmosphere at the box, win. Host significant games there. I mean, the reason that right field in Oxford and and Fayetteville this year look so awesome is because their teams like Arkansas had their best season ever, and it was post-COVID, and they just opened up, and people were thrilled to go to a meaningful event, and people went bonkers. And I mean, if LSU was ranked number one in the country hosting a super regional, and you had like a rematch of LSU Oklahoma Super where Jonathan Gray and Aaron Nola were going toe to toe, I mean, yeah, you'd have 11,000 people at the box, and people would be going crazy. It'd be awesome, You have to be able to play meaningful games. That's the most important thing. So, all right, y'all. I think we're just about done. Thanks to everybody for watching, man. Been a good show. Started a little late this morning because I slept in. I'm still on vacation. Some of y'all were asking. No, I'm not back on the air today. I'll be back Monday, so I took off this whole week. So, last Thursday, Friday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then this whole week. So, anyway, getting out, and we'll be back on Monday for AFR. Today, Doug Thompson and Ryan Terrio for all 3 hours. So a baseball heavy day on the day that LSU announces its baseball coach. So that's actually really appropriate. So y'all have an awesome day. My dad, I don't care what others say. I'm proud of you. Thank you, Dad. I appreciate that so much. But I really don't care. I'm good. Dad, I'm good, really. Anyway, y'all have a great day. If you're on Facebook, remember Brock, Hudco, both are tagged in the post. If you'd like those pages, we would appreciate it greatly. And if you're on YouTube, hit that like button. We appreciate you subscribing to the show as well. And we will see you mañana. Strippers on the foul pole. Stupid. All right, y'all be good. We'll see you later.